Salam, Bocha, Hosh, Omadid, and welcome to this Monday stream of Las Plumas Decimur. How are you today? My name is Plumas and I'm gonna be your host for our reading session of this evening. How are you, Bocha? I missed you, yeah? I haven't seen your faces. I haven't seen any of your faces. Haven't heard from you in ages, from Saturday, such a long time. But we're here and we are all ready to resume our reading of the Book of Kings, because let me tell you, Mature, things are gonna get from the D to the R to the A-matic, dramatic. And I know a few, hello Serapis, let's just wait for a wee second. Let's try to realize everything looking good. Yeah, audio looking good, camera looking good. But Char looking good as always. Oh, we have a lot of people here, don't we? Good afternoon. You all, thank you. Nosotros. Hello, Miguel. Hello, Serapis. Hi, Beridis. Hello, Lucía. How are you? How are you, Bachar? How did your Monday start? I have to share it with you because I think it's really important that we focus on the positive right now. Hello, Captain Rabbit. I've forgotten how to English and won't be only speaking Klingon for the day. Okay, then you shall be teaching me some Klingon because I don't have no flipping clue of any words in Klingon. I'm really sorry. That's my pendings on my bucket list. I've always wanted to learn Klingon and Elvish and Orc and Mordor language and all the. I know they have a name. I know they have a proper name. I just did not care to memorize them all. And what was I saying? I was saying something. Oh yeah, I was saying. No one's driving here. This is an empty front seat, like constantly. It's an empty front seat. Is the camera dirty? Just wait for a wee minute. Monday's always a struggle until this hour for some reason, but everything's fine. I'm really glad. Oh, you're always so sweet and supportive. I wanted to tell you that I want to focus on the positive, so why don't we share, all of us, kind of a support group, because but we have each other. We have our backs. Why don't we share one good thing that happened today? Just one. So tiny, it doesn't have to be like the biggest thing, but it can be the tiny good thing that it made your day, made you a little bit happier. In my case was that I met the word count. I not just met it, I surpassed the word count. I had established myself. Hello, K-Humans! I had established myself for my thesis writing. I wanted to write a certain amount of words today, and I reached and overpassed it. So I'm very happy about that. What about you? Would you like to share something nice and positive that happened? Because Mondays have this fame. Mondays had this reputation, awful reputation, and I really don't think that's fair. So I do not mean it's the best day ever, but I don't mind Mondays actually. I like fresh start. I like starting up with work. So I have a very interesting interview that would change my work in future. Ooh, that sounds so good. Congratulations to you. Keep us posted on that note. I like it. I really like that one. I'm sorry, Captain Rabbit, but I cannot allow those kind of terms. I know what you mean. I do share it sometimes, but I cannot allow those kind of words said on the chat. It's because of the mod, stuff like that, Keep it nice, keep it family friendly. You had an article published, yes, we know. Today is Garfield's favorite weekday. See, this is something positive. I know. Congratulations to you, video this, and to your beautiful article. I'm sure it's going to be great. Oh no, Mondays belong to hell. The only start I like is starting a dessert. I mean, fair. Fair is fair, for sure. Sorry, Lord, I gotta put my Twitch filter on. Don't worry, it's not for you. It's, it's most for me, for my channel, the kind of information I get backed up than anything else. Hello, Dio. Hi. Please do not use caps. Not my use here, please. It feels like you're shouting, and I don't like being shouted at. Monday so far, so good. In the afternoon, they will bring me a black tea with different citrus fruit. That sounds so promising. I am listening. And I have a pizza that I made in the oven. Now Monday gets even better because we have Pluma's room. Aren't you sweet? Did you make the pizza from scratch? That is something I have also on my bucket list. I want to learn how to make proper dough. I have like a million recipes, I have like a million instructions, and I just never bring myself to do it, but I will. So yeah, Also, I have to do it with all my Italian friends in mind because I love my Italian friends. I have a bunch of them and I have to respect them and I have to portray how much I love Italian cuisine and Italian pizza by making the perfect pizza. If I get to that point, I'll let you know for sure. I'll be so proud of myself if I do. You made the dough, you made the sauce. Oh yeah, Serapis is a chef. He's really into cooking. I forget that. But I have to tell you some things. There's something wrong. I don't know if there's something wrong, but something happened with my tea. That I cannot describe with words. I used the last bit of a tea that I had. It's not even tea, it's just a mix of different stuff. It has ginger in it and cardamom and some mint. But I don't know if there was something, like it's just a wee bit of something in this cup, and then I poured the whole boiling water in it. But the color of this mixture is definitely not the color I remembered from the original tea. I don't know. It smells nice. It smells super gingery as always. I forgot, not such a terrible day. I met a cute insect and could make. You could take a couple pictures before it flew away. Aww, that is so sweet. What kind of insect? I love bugs. I mean, I love animals, all kind. I just want an Irish chamomile tea with some Rocket League and nice sleep. Oh, and something with mushrooms and cheese. Cheese. Always a keeper. Always a keeper. We love cheese. We stand for cheese in this channel. This community stands for cheese. Period. We love cheese. I like it. What is Captain Rabbit? What is your favorite kind of cheese? What is the cheese that is like, that's my go-to? It's like, I think mine would be either a very old queso manchego. That's from Spain. Like, I really like the old ones. A smoky kind of Gouda. Yeah, everything is better with cheese and dragons. Yes, but we do not eat the dragons here. It was an ephemeral literal translation. They call it like that because the adult phase only lasts around 24 hours. I think I know which ones are they. Tons of mozzarella, so much that you need a spoon to eat it. I approve of your life choices, Captain Rabbit. Certainly do. But we are good to start our reading of the Book of Kings. But we cannot start without thanking, first of all, my patrons, my wonderful patrons. They book me up and they have so much support and nice words for me. Les revanchis. Ooh. English, queso manchego, more English. That's why I love this channel. Thank you, Letty. I mean, if you know how to properly pronounce queso manchego, you have to. I mean, I owe that to the queso manchego. I'm not going to say queso manchego. I'm so ashamed of myself. I would be so ashamed of myself if I did that. Like, I would be pretty embarrassed. But I would say my patrons, certainly I could not be here without them. They're so patient and they're so lovely. If you want to check out what's happening on Patreon, you can just go to the link. It's one of the capsules. Not capsules. What's the name of the thing again? The panels, yeah. I forgot how to Twitch. Letty forgot how to human, and I think Captain Rabbit forgot how to English, so I forgot how to Twitch. Yeah, in the panels as a subscription, you will find the link to Patreon in case you want to support the channel and the project in general. That helps me a lot. So thank you to my patrons, especially those of tier Murshid and tier Ashdod. Love you. My family, my patron family. And thank you, of course, as always, to everyone who's joined the channel and the conversation lately, and to all of you who subscribed. That helps me greatly. The number of subscriptions has actually increased, and that you have no idea how much it helps, because, this takes time and effort. So, without further ado, let's go into the D-R-A-M-A. Let's go to the drama. When I change my accent, I sometimes change for everything and I have a little control over it. So queso manchego sounds like something I could do, okay? I don't. I think, how to express this? Even if I have been living in English-speaking countries and speaking English since, Satan knows when, I know, my brain's still Spanish. I am not a bilingual person whatsoever. What is that? Plumas, so before you start reading and before I have to go because the lunch break is ending, I'm thinking about going back to school for my GED, then to college for criminal justice. Yeah, of course. That sounds so exciting, Catherine. I'm so happy for you. That's so great. What is a GED? Because I'm not familiar with that system, I'm afraid. I mean, if you cannot answer now, don't worry. It's because of the lunch break. It's fine. But I'm so happy you made that decision. Oh, that fills my heart. Yes. And we support you, right, Butcher? We have Captain Rabbit's back. Of course we do. And yeah, that is such an amazing adventure. I bet you're going to love it. What is GED? I might Google that one. Because sorry, I just think at GED, I'm thinking, oh, ABC. That's easy. 1, 2, 3. The simplest. It's a high school equivalency diploma. Oh, okay. Go for it. Yes, for sure. So good. I'm so happy you chose to do that. Yes, we shall back you up every time. And if you need something, yeah, we're rooting for you. Indeed, we are. You need something, here's the community. Here's Plumas and here's the Butcher to help you. I had dropped out due to some health struggles, but I'm good now. Yes, that's so great to hear. Oh, you know, Butcher, seeing you thrive fills my heart. It pumps blood into my veins. It really is the spark of this life. I'm just here to see you thrive and triumph over anything you pursue and carry on with. Yeah. That's the reason I opened this Twitch channel. That and reading the Book of Kings. Those are the only two reasons behind that. Oh, and actually had my own space where I could say things like Simurg is the coolest bad of them all. Genghis Khan is actually a really cool ruler, and the Ilkhanids are the best of the best in Iranian history. And I endorse myself. I certainly do endorse myself. So I'm gonna take a sip of this tea. Just, you know, I'm just curious, what is wrong with this colour? Oh, it's not a good colour. I'm not going to show you. But it's not a nice colour. Definitely not. It's like dirty water. I mean, if my friend Beth would be here, she would say, like, all tea, it looks like dirty water. Shut up, Beth. I know you can hear me. That is a taste. What was in here? What did I put here? Why don't I look into my mugs before I put my filter on it? My mum calls it cool tea, it calls tea dirty water. Not dirty water. I mean, it's very lemony, which is something positive every time because lemons are the essence of life. I'm so curious, really, what have I done here? Well, maybe one day we'll know. I know. Well, you guys, you enjoy the reading. You'll be nice to Pluma. She's a gangster. And you are the best. Thank you, Captain Rabbit. Enjoy your work. Hopefully, you will have a very nice sesh and a very nice shift. And be safe. Please do be safe. We shall be waiting for you here anytime you can come back. But yeah, Butcher, into the Book of Kings. The drama, it's calling at our doors. So if you remember last time we were reading, we were covering the story of Zol and Rudabeh and their forbidden love, because it was a forbidden and punished love. And yay! I'm a goat. I love goats. So what happens is that Zol is the son of Simurg and also this human king named Zam that, you know, I don't like him. So yeah, he's the son of Simurg and Zam, which is a very close friend with Manusher, the king of the world, the one who's sitting in the throne of Iran right now. And Rudabeh, she's descended from Zahok, which is a demon king, and she is the daughter of what's the name of the dad? I forgot. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name of this person. Mehrab, yeah, I was going to say something else. This king is... There's this kind of animosity between this king and Zol and Manusher and Sam, so that is the reason mainly that, and Rudabeh being the descendant of a demon. Those are the main impediments for this union to be blessed. However, they managed to get together and they swear love to each other, and it was a very cute and very spicy scene. And after they've been together, Zol consults the Magi and consults the astronomers, asking if this union is in fact auspicious and if it's not going to bring any curse to his name and his family, because this is a big deal back in this moment. Remember, 11th century Iran. So yeah, the fate and what's written in the stars and the consequences of your action, hello Kiwi, and the consequences of your actions do take a big part of your life. And I'd love my kid to have babies with a demon. I mean, if you ask me, anything that comes from Zahog's family, it's a good thing. But I'm not the one making the rules or the choices here. And Zol is still very deeply in love with Rhodabe. He knows Rhodabe is not a wicked person. She's lovely. She's the best. I mean, oh my god, I love Rhodabe too. No wonder Zal is so caught up in her. I mean, just so cute. And what he's advised is writing a letter to his father, trying to make him understand, and asking him to intercede for him before Manushere, who for sure is not going to be happy to hear this. So then we shall resume at the moment when Zol writes a letter to his father Sam. Zol called for scribed and poured out the content of his heart. He began with praise of the world's just creator, as normally letter starts, from whom come happiness and strength, who is the lord of the evening star, of Saturn and of the sun, and all that is and is not, who is one and whose slaves we are. So this is a formula. At this point, you're really familiar with this, but yeah, praising God as the ultimate truth of the universe is something they do to start every single letter, and also highlights the importance of religion and and the monotheistic cults in Iran in this moment, because do you remember when we watched The Art of Persia, and they were kind of taking the sacred element out of it? Islam did not get the best representation in that documentary, which is a shame, because Persians were Muslims at this time, and that is not a problem actually. I mean, it's not a big deal. At least it was not for them. So yeah, we need to remember this is a book written in an Islamic society by a Muslim person. So these kind of reference to God and how he has the last word to be said, very important, because also they help us set the hero and the protagonist of the story in the true path, the correct path to follow, in the sense that you don't want to go against God's desires or what God has prepared for you to accomplish. So yeah, that's it's also something very typical, that to start letters with praising to deities. In ancient Mesopotamia, this was done as well, and you will kind of invoke those deities. It could be a single god, it could be an entire pantheon, but you do evoke them and wish that ultimate powers and heavenly powers protect the person who's receiving your letter. So also after he's done, the required parts of the letter, he gets into the next part. So we have the praising of God, and now we have the praising of the recipient of the letter, in this case Sam. He went on, I invoke his blessing, God's blessing, on Sam, the lord of the mace, the sword, and the helmet. So the warlord. This is emphasizing Sam's warrior nature, who makes his great... Hello, Las Plumas. Can I use a question kindly? I mean, if the question is kind, then you can for sure ask it. Who makes his grey horse curvet on the battlefield and leaves food there for the vultures, whose presence is a mighty wind in war, who rains down swords from the storm clouds, who distributes crowns and royal belts, and places kings on the golden thrones. So basically, he's praising the military aspect of his father. And he adds also a man of all able qualities, and the greatest of these in wisdom. So, yeah, he's basically trying to inflate a little bit Sam's ego. How many words per minute can you type? Are you a fast typer? Never counted myself. Absolutely no idea. Nope. Oh yeah. While my father lived in comfort, says Zol, in silk and samite, the Simurgh bore me into the mountain of India, where she treated me as one of her squaws, and I depended on the food she hunted. My skin was burned by the wind, my eyes were blinded by dust, and though men said I was the son of Sam, he lived in glory while I lived in a nest, because God had ordained this. So yeah, I mean, he's not being salty, or he's not being no grudge here. He's just highlighting something that is true. And if you ask me personally, I think what Zal's doing here is emphasizing more or less prepping the ground to say, Dad, do you remember that you owe me real good? Because, I was brought up in a mountain, away from civilization, because you kind of messed up. So you owe me big time. No one can escape God's justice, even though he fly beyond the clouds. Like no one can escape God. And if we transfer this to the greater scheme of things in literature, no one can escape destiny. If you are keen to read all the types of literature, epic literature from, let's say, Egypt, let's say Greece, let's say the northern areas of Europe, destiny is a major thing and you rarely escape it. And if you do escape it, you kind of twist and turn around it. But in the end, you end up meeting your destiny one way or another. It just happens. And a warrior's teeth can be like anvils. He might be able to crush a lance with them. His voice might make a lion's skin split with terror, but he still must obey God's will. Something heartbreaking has happened to me, something which men will not praise me for. But if my father, who is a brave man and a dragon in his breath, will hear me out, I will be well. So yeah, you see what he did, right? Zal is a very smart kid. So he basically said, Dad, you know what? I've suffered, but it was God's command and I accepted it and I did as he ordained. And then I got like all this one way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get to one way. Yeah, I mean, I was waiting because I want to make that joke. Thank you, Letty. Thank you for so much. Excuse me for so little. So, Zal's prepping his discourse, as in like, look, Father, you owe me big time, old man, because you do owe me, and I've suffered, although I accepted the endurances of destiny so bravely, and now I have this problem. And I was hoping you could intercede for me because you're my dad. You love me, don't you? I love Zal. So Zal continues his letter this way. I weep for the daughter of Mehrab. I burn in the fire of my love for her. Azizam. In the dark night, the stars are my companions. My heart seethes in turmoil like the sea. I am beside myself with grief, and all men weep for me. My heart has seen injustice, but it breathes only to obey you. Do you, Zal? do you, my pal, my lad, my boy? Do you? I mean, he probably would have said, do not sleep with Mehrab's daughter, yet you did. Are you sure you only live to obey your father? Yeah, it's like, it makes me laugh. I'm really sorry. You are the world's hero. What do you command? Free me from this pain, this agony of soul. Free me by doing what I want you to say. Like, let me marry Mehrab's daughter according to our rights and customs. When you brought me from the Alborz mountains, you swore before your courtier. So clever. You swore before your courtiers that you would never oppose me in my desires, and this is the one desire of my heart. Have you seen how cleverly he's constructed all of this? Praising God, praising Dad, explaining all the suffering and trouble he's gone through in his very short life, then highlighting the fact that he only lives to obey his father's commands, but then very smartly just punching the dagger on the chest, as in like, look, you swore you would not go against my desires, and this is the only thing I'm asking from you. And because I'm going to position myself in Zal's side, I think it's fair. I mean, he never asked for anything, absolutely anything. He doesn't even ask Sam to stay with him, to help him, learn the ways of the court and teach him how to be a proper prince. No. He's only asking, hey, let me marry the one I am deeply in love with. I love Zal. I mean, that's one thing. I do love Zal, but he's just so clever. It's like, he's just, the whole letter is like, such a smart move. I love him. So yeah, the letter is finished. It's like, Dad, please let me marry Rudabe. I am gonna do it. Anyway, but I would like to have your approval on this. Wait until someone I know hears of this. An envoy took 3 horses and set off as swiftly as fire from Kabul. Zal gave him these orders. If one horse stumbles, you should not delay for an instant. Mount another and press onward until you're in Sam's presence. So this is something that actually messengers and envoys did. They traveled with more than one horse in case something happened, because the port service actually we talked about in this channel, the Iranian port service created in the Achaemenids is considered to be the first port service, like state-based port service in history, and it worked very finely. So we know from sources that these port service was still being used by the Sassanids, and later the Islamic dynasties also made use of these port service. So just like a quite tiny thing on here, and we know that this is something messengers did, traveling with more than one horse. The messenger sped off like the wind, and when he reached the land of the Gogsaran, he saw Sam in the distance hunting with his cheetahs on the mountain slopes. While I mentioned that kings in this book have cheetahs as pets, Sam caught sight of him and said to his companions, "A horseman is riding here from Kabul, and the mount he's riding is from Zabolistan." How nice is this? Like, distinguishing your own people by the mount, the horse drapery. I love it. He must be an envoy from Zal. We should find out what he has to say and ask him about Zal, Persia, and the king. At that moment, the envoy, clutching a letter in his hand, reached Sam. What's the deal? Jasmine from Aladdin had a huge cute tiger. I mean, they're using cheetahs for hunting. I think that is cool AF. Personally. Really sorry if I am not... Yeah, Jasmine didn't use Raha for anything. Other than comfort, company, support, emotional and physical support, and yeah, actually I have a point. At the moment, reached Sam, he dismounted, kissed the ground, and called down God's blessing on the king. Sam questioned him and took the letter, and the envoy gave him Zal's greetings. Sam began to make his way down the mountain and opened the letter to read Zal's message. As soon as he had done so, he stood rooted on the spot in astonishment. Like, can you imagine Sam just stopping midway and his assistants around him like, "But my lord, what has occurred to you? What has come into you?" If he like holding the letter like, what? Oh my god, I love him. Zal's request did not please him. This was not how he had hoped his son would be. Yeah, because what right does this person has? Does this person have? I cannot English. What right has this person to expect anything from a kid he has not risen himself? From a kid he abandoned, and he finds the pleasure on being demanding and hoping he would turn out how like you. I really don't like Sam. I don't. You should not like him either. And but yeah, I'm really happy that he's not happy. Sam said, "His words feed his nature, which has now become plain to me." Shut up. These are the foolish whims a boy who was brought up by a savage bird would have. Excuse you? You talking about the Empress of Heavens? You show some respect. You call Simur a savage? How dare you? How dare you? And yeah, the whims of a boy who was brought up by a savage bird. Oh my god, like. And he made his way back from the hunting grounds to his camp, his mind filled with foreboding. He said to himself, if I say to him, this is not an advisable course of action, don't set up trouble like this, be sensible, I shall be known as one who gave his word idly and broke it. But if I say, yes, you must follow your desires and do what your heart tells you, then from that savage bird and his descendants of a demon, what kind of offspring will be born? I'm really sorry, you stop calling Simur a savage right now. She could tear you down to pieces only by looking at you, you jackass. Have you no shame or fear for God or something? Simur is a heavenly creature. What are you doing insulting her? I just can't even. No, I really dislike this character. So yeah, here you have another conflict which is going to come across again, but is important, which is if Sam says no to Zol, he would be lying because he swore he would not oppose his desires. However, if he says yes, and he's wondering what kind of creature would spawn from a man that was rose by a bird in the mountains, a magnificent one by the way, and the descendant of the Demon King. So he basically doesn't know what to do. So he goes to see the priests. He woke, when he woke, he summoned, so he went to sleep. Yeah, I forgot that. He slept and his sleep refreshed him. And when he woke, he summoned priests and wise men and consulted them. He began by questioning astrologers and asked them what the outcome of a union between two who were as different as fire and water would be. Surely it would produce a disaster like the war between Zahog and Fereydun. Not quite. You know what? Because Zal and Rudabeh were made for each other, pal. They're the black and the white of the world, the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon. You know, all of it. The chocolate and the cheese of this world. I think Zal will be the cheese because of the white thing. And yeah, Rudabeh first said she will be the chocolate because she's sweet. And he told him to consult the stars and to see if any good can come out of this. For many days the astrologers searched the skies, and when they came before him again, they were smiling and said, "My lord, fortune will join these two enemies as one." Which enemies? Okay. The chief astrologer said, "I bring you good news of the union between Zal and Rudabeh, Mehrab's daughter. They will both prosper, and from these two will be born a great hero, a mammoth-bodied man who will conquer the world with his sword, who will lift the king's throne beyond the clouds. He will extirpate the race of evil from earth and cleanse the world with his heavy mace. He will be a comfort to those who suffer, and he will close the gate of war and the pathways to evil. Iran will trust him, and in his fame her champions will rejoice to hear his name. Throughout his life, the monarchy will thrive in times to come. His glory will survive. Before his name, inscribed on every seal, Iran and Rum and India will kneel." So, what has just happened? What has just happened? The hero has been revealed. The hero with capital letters, the main protagonist of the Shāh-nāmeh, if we had to pick one. This hero is going to result from the union of Zal and Rudabeh. That means Zal and Rudabeh have the blessing of God themselves and the stars, and the universe is protecting them because this union has to happen. This hero needs to come. It's been disposed this way. This hero will come to the earth and will fill Iran with pride. It would stop the evil, all the jazz I just read. But it's really important because now you see, Bachar, that Zal and Rudabeh have no way of being opposed. They're meant to be. They're really meant to be. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that beautiful? I really like it. And but yeah, in this moment, Sam, relieved by the astrologer's words, he laughed and thanked them warmly, and gave them great quantities of gold and silver because they had brought him comfort when he was afraid. He called for Sal's envoy and said to him, "Speak kindly to Zal. Tell him that this is a strange wish that he has, but since I gave my word, it would be unjust for me to look for some way to refuse him." the Shāh-nāmeh, the fate written in his forehead. Already amazing, I know. At dawn I shall leave for Iran. Then he gave the messenger some silver coins and said, don't delay on your journey for an instant. Speed, wind speed, you boy. When 2 watches of the night had passed, horseman cries, the din of drums and the blare of trumpets announces some departure with his army for Iran. The envoy reached Zal with news of his good fortune, and Zal, can you imagine how happy would he had been? He's like the sweetest creature in the entire book. And you just imagine his dad just said, yeah, for sure you can marry the girl. He's like, yes! The envoy reached Zal with news of his good fortune, and Zal gave thanks to God for his happiness, distributing gold and silver coins to the poor and being equally generous with his friends. I just like imagining Zal going to his friends at the top of his lungs screaming, I am getting married. And I don't know, is it moment to celebrate? But should we move to the other part of the story? Should we see what's actually happening between the doors and between the walls of this castle where Rudabeh is at? Now we're gonna know a little bit better one of the best characters in the Shāh-nāmeh, according to me, which is Sindocht. Sindocht is Rudabeh's mom, and you should nod. Oh, for the happy couple! Yay! Cheers to you! So, a sweet-voiced serving woman acted as a go-between for Zal and Rudabeh, taking messages from one to the other. No, I do them. Zal summoned her and told her what he had learned. He said, go to Rudabeh and tell her, pure-hearted moon of loveliness, when matters go from bad to worse, we soon see a key to open the way of escape. My envoy has returned from Sam with good news. Sam argued and blustered for a while, but finally he has agreed to our marriage. Then he gave the girl Sam's letter, and she hurried like the wind to Rudabeh to tell her the good news. Rudabeh showered her with gold coins and sat her down on a gold-worked throne. She gave her a muslin headscarf and was so finely woven the weft could not be told from the warp. You've seen this comparison before. The importance of textiles is as a currency, actually. We've seen this. I'm not going to repeat myself over because I have the feeling I do say the same thing over and over and over. But yeah, basically Rudabeh is also super happy that they can marry each other because they love each other so much. How much do they love each other so much? And so yeah, she also gave her 2 valuable rings which glittered like the planet Jupiter, which is a very shiny planet, by the way. Then she sent her back with many greetings and good wishes to Zal. As the woman emerged from Rudabeh's apartment into the main hall of the palace, Sindocht, the mama, caught sight of her. The woman blushed in fear, turning the color of red juniper berries, and kissed the ground before her queen. So queen we're talking about, Butcher. Sindocht became suspicious and said in loud voice, where are you coming from? Tell me, you're always going back and forth from Rudabeh's apartment and you avoid my eye when you do so. My heart suspects you're up to something. What are you up to? Are you the bowstring in this affair? Or are you the bow? How amazing! How amazing is that sentence? Are you the bowstring or are you the bow? The woman replied, I'm just a poor woman trying to earn my daily bread as best I can, my lady. Rudabeh wanted to buy some jewelry and I brought her a golden diadem and a splendid ring set in precious stones. Sindocht said, show them to me and then put my heart at rest, shall you? She replied, I left both of them with Rudabeh. She wanted some other things, so I'm going to fetch them. Sindot said, show me the money. She pay you for them. And pour cold water in my anger. But the woman replied, Rudabeh said she would pay me tomorrow. You can't ask to see something I haven't received yet, my lady. Oh, hello, Typhoon. I was missing you. And then Sindot knew the woman was lying, and she hardened her heart against her. She began to search her roughly, looking in her bosom and sleeves, and when she found the fine headscarf embroidered by Rudabeh, she was enraged, and ordered her daughter to come before her. She clawed at her cheeks and wept, and said, You are a noble woman, and as beautiful as the moon. What whim has made you choose to act like someone from the lowest depths rather than someone who occupies the throne? What do you lack? Why are you behaving like a criminal? Now tell your mother whatever secrets you are hiding, especially why this woman keeps coming to you. What is going on? Who is the man these scarf and rings are intended for? How clever she is. I mean, she's a mum and she's a queen. So, period. That's it. The Arabs' wealth and crown have brought us so good fortune and ill fortune, and you want to fling our standing and reputation to the winds like this? What mother ever gave birth to a daughter like you? The drama. Rudabeh was ashamed, and she stared at the ground. Then she began to weep, and tears coursed down her lovely cheeks. She said to her mother, I wish I'd not been born, and then you would see nothing evil in me, and nothing good. You're wise, but love has made my heart its prey. I think of Zal, Zabol's king, night and day. I burn for him in love's tormenting fire. My heart's consumed by passion, consumed by desire. I weep my life away. Without him, I have no desire to live. I long to die. He came to me, and hand in hand we swore our mutual love will last forevermore. So she's just telling, yeah, Mom, you know what? We've been together, kind of very together, very close, very super close to each other. Like, there was no space for the Holy Spirit in there. His envoy went to Sam, who angrily declared at first that he would not agree to Sal's request, but bit by bit relented, argued and stormed, and finally he consented. The letter that he sent to Zal was brought to me here by the woman you caught. Sindot was astonished at her words. At first, she said nothing, but then she sat for a while. Like, you just imagine Sindot just digesting all of this information. Like, hey, Mom, so this is the thing. I'm in love with who? With Zal, the kid of Simur, king of Zabul. And we've kind of been with each other already. And we've kind of agreed we're going to marry each other already. So I'm just informing you. Just don't be angry at me. I'm your daughter. I love you. I'm very ashamed. But still, I'm going to do this thing. So it's like, I really like it all that way. And then astonished and looking for the chancla. Definitely looking for the chancla. But halfway, Sindot was reaching for the chancla, already to punish Rudabeh in a very Spanish / Latin American way. Also very Iranian. And she thought that she liked the idea of Zal as a son-in-law. What do you think? What do you think? She likes Zal. She wants him to be his son-in-law. However, she's still very clever, this woman. However, she said, this isn't wise. There's no noble warrior who can compare with Zal. He's a great man and the son of a hero who has a fine reputation and is an intelligent, clear-sighted man. Zal has many virtues and only one fault, the white hair. But that fault diminishes his splendor. The king of Iran will be angered by this. Like, she knows the political situation the kingdom is put at. So she knows what Manushed is going to say about this. He's not going to like it. He will be angered by this, and he'll raise the dust of battle over Kabul. He has no desire for someone from our family to rule. Sindocht released the go-between, that's the woman that was, coming and going between Zal and Rudabeh, and spoke kindly to her, saying she now knew what had been hidden from her. I really like the characters apologize, and I think it's a very positive element of a character, knowing when they mess up. It doesn't matter if they're kings or peasants, they know, Sindocht know that she has not been fair to this lady, and she apologizes for that. Fair and square played, Sindocht. I love her. I really like this character. She saw that her daughter had lived cut off from the world and without anyone's advice. Then she lay down alone and filled with such anxiety that her skin felt bruised and broken. So yeah, this is the thing. Rudabeh has been kind of isolated her entire life, and now Sindocht repents of this choice. But she knows what these news could bring for them. If Manusha knew that Zal was intending to marry Rudabeh, this means war, and it's problematic because Kabul cannot stand against the armies of Manusha. And you know what? These people, they don't want to die. They like being alone and alive. So yeah, I'm just thinking of how much we're gonna read. I think we can give time to sleep for a little bit more. Then Mehrab, the papa, the dad, came from the court in good spirits because Zal had been very attentive to him. If only in a parallel line. If Rudabeh didn't exist, though, I'm saying the ship, but no, not in a world where Rudabeh exists. No. So you see, Zal and Mehrab still see each other often, and they do courtly stuff often. Probably they play chess, probably they play polo, probably they go hunting together, because yeah, that's what as one does when you're a prince and a king. So he came back home and he saw his wife Sindocht lying down, frowning and semi-troubled, and he said to her, "What's the matter, my love? Why is your flower-like face filled with frowns?" And she said, "I've been thinking for a long time about our palace and our wealth, our horses, our page boys who have sworn loyalty to us, our gardens and royal enclosures, the beauty of our daughter, our reputation, knowledge and prudence. Little by little the freshness and force of our lives leave us. Misfortune will come. Our enemies will inherit what is ours. Our troubles will have been as vain as the wind. A narrow coffin will be our lot, and the fruit of the tree we have planted will be poison. We have watered it and labored over it, hung crowns and treasures in its branches, and it has grown upwards to the sun and spread its shade, and now it is to be felled. This will be our end, and who knows where our peace is to found." So Sindocht she's troubled, she's very depressed, she's very upset. And then Mehrab said, "You speak as if these were a new thing, but the fleeting world was ever thus, and wise men have always feared its ways. It raises one and casts another down, and heaven's will cannot be opposed. There is no point in agonizing over this. It won't change. We cannot fight against God's decrees." And then Sindocht answers, "Oh, okay, thank you, Nosy Rose." Thank you. I shall continue now. Then Sindocht said, "A priest will tell his child this parable of the tree to explain the ways of the world to him. I said it so that you would pay attention to what I have to say." She hung her head, and her rosy cheeks were met with tears. "The heavens do not always turn as we wish. Know then that Zal, Sam's son, has set who knows what snares in secret to catch Rudabeh. But he has captured her pure heart, and we must consider what to do about this. I have talked to her at length, but to no avail. Her face is sallow with grief, and I can see that her heart is in turmoil. Boom, she dropped the bomb. She said it. She just said it. She did. Like, hey, you know what? Your daughter is kind of in love with Zol. Zol has charmed your daughter, kind of in a very, I don't know to what extent Sindocht told Mehrab what she knew that happened. You know what I'm saying? That moment where these two were so close, there was no room for el Espíritu Santo. There was no room between those bodies till the Holy Spirit to go. So when Mehrab, of course, Mehrab's not going to be happy about this. Oh, there's a very dark cloud coming over. Should I turn this on? Epa. There we go. Just gonna. Boom. Yeah, much better. And also I need light to read. When Mehrab heard this, he sprang up and grasped his sword hilt. His body trembled. His face darkened. Blood surged in his heart. His lips were cold with sighs, and he said, I shall make a river of blood of Rudabe this moment. He wants to kill her. He wants to kill his daughter. Like right now. Miniature Pepe, thank you for the follow. Sindocht stood up and grasping him by the waist said, I am your slave, listen to me first. Then do whatever you wish and may wisdom guide your soul. She's like, you're not going to touch my baby. You're not going to touch my daughter. But he twisted her. Hydrate. Okay, thank you, Letty. Yeah, I need water to digest this. My throat is so dry. Also, since we're here, she's trying to hold him, physically hold Mehrab, which is more stronger than her, to avoid the fathers in the book are questionable. Yeah, some fathers in this book are very questionable. Wait till you know all of them. He twisted from her grasp and pushed her away, roaring like a mad elephant. He shouted, I should have cut that girl's head off when she was born. Oh my god. I didn't do as my grandfather would have done. Excuse me? What? As my grandfather would have done. I think he's referring to the hog. And now she comes up with this sorcery to destroy me. I could be killed for this, and my reputation destroyed. Why do you want to stop me from punishing her? If Sam and Manu Sheher march against us, smoke from the sack of Kabul will cloud the sun, and neither the town nor our fields or crops will survive. So basically, this is the reason Mehrab is so angry, because he thinks Rudabe has tricked him and has drawn him into disaster. If Sam and Manushet knew about this, they will march against Kabul, and as I'm saying, Kabul is no match for those armies. Like, it's absolutely not. Then Sindocht said, calm yourself, don't talk so widely. Sam already knows. There's no need to be so fearful and anxious. He's traveling from the land of the Gog Saran to Manushet's court. The matter is not a secret anymore, it's out in the open. Do you think that's gonna help, Sindocht? Like, honestly? Mehrab then said, don't tell me such lies, woman. Woman? The wind does not obey the dust. If you could show me some way to manage this, then I wouldn't be so worried. Who is here? Who is there from Ahbas to Kandahar who wouldn't like to be allied with Sam? That's the thing. They don't even have allies, because the moment they see the armies of Manushet approaching, they're going to be like, haha, that's the winning part. We're just joining them. Sindocht answered, my lord, may I never need lies to help you. What harms you obviously harms me, and I am devoted to your heart's well-being. I've told you the truth. This is the matter that's been troubling me. But if this marriage should happen, it wouldn't be so amazing after all, and the prospect should not worry us so much. So this is Sindocht interceding for Zara and Rudabe. I love her. Fereydun became king of Iran with the help of Sarv, king of Yemen, and Zal is trying to do something similar. The world will not shine with splendor from earth, air, and water alone. Fire must be there too. The elements have to mix. I love this woman. When a stranger joins your family, those who wish you ill are discomfit, because it makes you stronger. How beautiful is this speech? Let me read it again. When a stranger joins your family, those who wish you ill are discomfit, because it makes you stronger. Differences makes us stronger. Bridges, not walls. I love this character so much. This is such a positive message. Incorporate all the people. Get out your comfort zone. Bring strangers to your family, because it will make you stronger. The variety of it. You will grow and thrive together so much. And she knows. I want to highlight something to you, Bacha. Sindocht doesn't know about the stars. She doesn't know about these great heroes that's going to be born from Rudabe and Zal's union. Sam is the only one who knows this. And that's the reason Sam is pleased, because he knows the outcome of it and he likes it. It's like, oh, there's something physical, practical he's getting out of these two being together. Sindocht doesn't have any idea of this. She doesn't know. She just wants her daughter to be happy. She just wants her family to be comforted by other forces and place her kingdom into the big conversation that is the kingdom of Iran. So can we already agree how amazing is this woman? How beautiful this part of the book is, and how just incredibly sweet and wise Sindocht is. If you need to pick one woman from the Shāh-nāmeh to showcase their representation in it, pick Sindocht. This is my go-to. Sindocht is goals. Yes, we should all learn from her. It will help us greatly. Then, of course, Mehrab is a little bit thicker in the head, and Mehrab listened to Sindocht. His heart was filled with fury, his head with confusion. He said, "Bring Rudabe to me." But Sindocht was afraid that he would harm her in his anger, and she answered, "First, you must swear to deliver her back to me safely and sound. Kabul must not be deprived from her. She's a paradise, a rose garden in her loveliness. She's her daughter. She's her baby. She's protecting her." She made him promise to renounce all thoughts of violence against their daughter, and Mehrab solemnly swore that he would not hurt her. But added, "The king will be furious with us for this. There won't be any country or mother or father or Rudabe left when he is finished with us." Sindocht bowed before him and went smiling to her daughter, her face shining like the sun beneath the night of her black hair. Why is that Kiwi? Also because she's the rare female character in the Shāh-nāmeh who is either evil or not very smart. She's a reasonable, smart, strong woman. She is magnificent. I entirely agree with you. Yeah. Sindocht said to her daughter, "Good news. The leopard has seated his claws and let the wild ass go free. Now put on some fine clothes and go to your father and see that you cry in front of him." I love her. Rudabe replied, "Why use her fine clothes? What are such worthless things when I lack the one precious thing I want?" "Rudabe, filla. My soul longs for Samson. Why should I hide what's obvious?" "Because of your security and safety, my dear. My lassie, listen to your mum, okay? Would you listen to your mum?" But when she went before her father, as lovely as the sun rising in the east, she seemed drowned in rubies and gold. Could she even walk, I wonder? She was arrayed like a paradise and as splendid as the sun in springtime. Her father stared at her in wonder and silently invoked God's blessings on her. Then he stormed at her. "You senseless child! When was such behavior even right for another woman? How can a fairy being like you," a fairy being, are you comparing her to a patty? Because patties are not good. I mean, you should know this. This is your culture. Mehrab, patties are very mischievous. So what were you expecting? Like you marry that Ahriman, yepa. She lowered her black eyelashes over her dark eyes. Isn't she precious? And did not dare to draw a breath. Her angry father raged at her like a roaring leopard, his heart filled with fury. He's just basically shouting at her all the time. She returned to her apartment heartbroken, and her face was as shallow as saffron. Both the daughter and the king prayed to God to aid them. And this is the last part we're going to read because, alright, Sam knows, Zal knows, Rudabeh knows, Sindocht knows, and now Mehrab knows. Who is the last person? Who is the last piece of this equation? What is the missing element? Manusher. He's not going to be happy about this. So, yeah, as this is happening in Kabul, Manusher learned that this diverse pair, Zal and Rudabeh, intended to marry. And he said to his priests and sages, I like Manusher, by the way, I want to state this. I really like Manusher. This will bring an evil day to us. By war and policy, I have delivered Iran from the clutches of lions and leopards, and Zal's impetuous love must not be allowed to rise up. These defeated race that they are our equals, remember, because they're the family from Zahog. And it's like, no, I haven't fought. Me and my great-grandfather haven't fought the family of Zahog, so now Zal can bring them back into the conversation of nobility in Iran. That is not going to happen. And by the union of Mehrab's daughter and Sam's son, a sharp sword will be unseated, who on one side will not be of our people. This will be like mingling poison and the antidote together. I just lost this shit. I really like it. If the offspring follows in his mother's footsteps, his head will be filled with malevolence towards us. Iran will seethe with sedition and trouble as he hopes to gain her crown and wealth. So he's basically saying if they have a child and if he learns the evil ways of the mom's family, he's gonna, organize a coup d'etat and kill her mom and kill his mom and then kill Manusher to get the throne. Oh my gosh, don't be such a drama llama, Manusher, come down. All the priests approved his speech and said, you are wiser than we are and more able to do what is necessary. Do what wisdom demands. So he summoned Nozar. If Nozar is brought, war is coming. Nozar was one of these noblemen, archers, warlords that accompanied Manusher alongside with Sam and Qobad and Karen when they fought against the Manusher's great uncles Salm and Tur. Do you remember that bit? That was a very fun part. He summoned Nozar and his nobles and said, go to Sam and ask him how the war has gone. Remember war at Mazandaran? Yeah, we're going to hear from that for a while. Then tell him to come here before then tell him to come here before me, before he returns home. Nozar and his entourage set off with their elephant and war drums. Then they arrived at Sam's camp. He was pleased to see them, and Nozar, yeah, his name is Karin, handed over his father's message. Sam replied, I shall do as he commands, and my soul will find peace in seeing him. Because remember, Sam and Manusher are really good friends. I don't mean this ironically, they are really close friends. They set out tables for a feast, and the name of Manusher was the first they remembered when they drank. They passed the long night in pleasure until the spring sun reappeared. Then, to the din of drums, their mount seemed to take wing as they sped towards the court, as Manusher had commanded. When Manusher heard of their approach, a great cry went up from Sari to Amol, and the army set off, filling the valleys with the heavy lances, the shields woven in red and gold, and the drums, trumpets and cymbals, the Arab horses, elephants and treasure. When they parade in this book, they do indeed parade. In this manner, with its banners and drums, the army went to welcome Sam. Sam dismounted as he drew near the court, and a way was cleared for him to approach the king. Sam kissed the ground and went forward. Manusher rose from his ivory throne, a crown set with shining rubies on his head, and motioned Sam to a throne near him. Sit here, we need to talk. Oh, so good to see you. May God praise the king. May his kingdom last for 1,000 years. May the name of Manusher will be remembered. Yeah. Sit down, Sam. We need to talk. He treated him with appropriate kindness, asked him sympathetically about the war in the Goksaran and the demons of Mazandaran, and Sam answered all his questions, one by one, recounting the story of his battles, the route of the enemy, and the killing of Zahag's descendant Kakui. As Manusha listened, his crown seemed to reach the moon with pleasure. Like, oh yeah, we did all that stuff, and we brave, and we fun. Then he gave orders for wine and a banquet to celebrate the extirpation of the enemies of the world, and they passed the night feasting, and Sam's name was continually on the courtiers' lips. When day broke, apparently Manusha has forgotten they have to talk. Sam returned to Manusha's side. The king said to him, "Choose some chieftains and go from here to India. Spread fire and sword there. Burn Mehrab's castle and Kabul to the ground. Don't let him escape. He is dragon spawn, always raising his war cry against someone, filling the peaceful world with war and trouble. Sewer the heads of his allies, cleanse the earth of Zahog's stride." And Sam, swallowing a little bit saliva, he said, "I shall do this and satisfy the king's anger." And he kissed the throne and touched his face to the king's seal ring. And then his army set off on the galloping horses for home. And then there he goes. He just set course to burn Kabul to the very ground and to kill Mehrab and his own family. So the family of Zahog is deleted and erased from the face of earth once and forever. And here is where we're going to stop. So you have to go early. Enjoy the reading. Thank you, Serapis. Yeah, cheers to you. And this is where we're going to stop. I think it's a very nice cliffhanger for you to get, at the, yes, I know. We should be all friends instead. I know. Yeah. So basically, Manusher has gotten Sam drunk and all feisty, only to finish with, now you're gonna set off to the kingdom of this girl you boy is in love with, and you're gonna destroy it entirely. Leave no one alive. That is my command. And if you know something about how Iranian cults work, you should not go against the king's desires. Drama. What have you done, Zal? What have you two done, Zal and Rudabeh? For the love of God! So thank you, Witcher, so much for joining the reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. This is by far one of my favorite cycles in the entire Shāh-nāmeh. And I'm always very happy to share it with you. And I cannot wait for the conclusion of this. And I'm just very happy about it. Yes, I am. And don't kill people's families. That's rude. So I think there's not much for me to say. I am unsure. I'm actually not sure if this Saturday we are going to have a live stream because I have something going on. But maybe there's a possibility that we don't have a live stream or our tea on Saturday. I don't know. It depends on how live unravels itself. But thank you as always for chat. Thank you so much for the company, and thank you so much for joining me in another reading from the Shāh-nāmeh. Thank you, Typhoon. Thank you for being here. As I said before, if you want to support this project on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/lasplumasdesimur and just consider joining the family from €2. There's so much you can help me out with. Also, big shout out to my Patreons, those of Tier Murshid and of Tier Ashdod especially, and it was great. Thank you. I'm really happy you enjoyed it. I promised drama and I delivered, hopefully. I know you should be the judges of that. And thank you as always for the support and the company. Thank you for the follow, for the subscription, and all that jazz. And I shall see you for sure next Monday. I hope you have a fantastic week. Maybe on Saturday, I still don't know. All right, I'm not sure, but I will be sure at some point. I will say possibly I will drop a message on social media to tell you if we do have a live stream or not. And drama, passion, and cliffhanger. Thank you, Nazaros. You always enjoy this reading so much, don't you? Oh, you're so sweet. So but do remember to create, remember to explore, and remember to have tons of fun. Until we see each other again, I say to you, Khodafez.